Hello, everybody, and welcome to this live webinar on Monday, January 13th. Just to prove it's live, thank you for being here with me. I know there's people on different platforms, so hopefully the connection's good. You can see me, you can hear me, you can see the screen. This lady on the front who I don't know, but she's the front cover of what I'm about to show you tonight. So, first of all, I hope you've had a good Monday. I hope it's been a great start to the week. And I've just got back from England. I live in Spain. I live in Barcelona. I'm going to tell you a bit more about me because obviously you've joined this and you probably, unless you've listened to my podcast, you probably don't know who I am. So I'm going to tell you a bit about myself. I'm going to tell you how I've lost weight, my journey through being overweight, what I did to change that, and how that's changed my life and what I do now as a way of helping others. First things first, okay? Now I'm going to start the presentation. If anyone has any questions, feel free to stop me. Otherwise, at the end, there'll be time. But what I'd like to say is this presentation has been created and is something that I'm genuinely quite proud to share with you. Because what I'd like to spend some time on doing today is helping you to learn how you can lose the weight that you want, how you can build self esteem and confidence, and how you can put an end to yo yo dieting. Now, I'm going to be telling you everything, not that I've read in a book, not that I watched on a YouTube video, but that I've done for myself. So I tell you this with, I wouldn't just say confidence that it works, but I feel genuine by telling you this. I feel that ethically it's correct, morally it's correct. And this is something that in the world of weight loss, in the world of health and social media, I'll be honest, it's quite difficult to find. And not only that, I'm very cautious myself. I've had my hands burnt many times from these great offers or people telling me that they can help me do something, and I've had faith in that, and only to feel very disappointed or let down at the end of it all. So I understand if you have been on a weight loss journey for a while, if you have made several attempts to lose weight and it's never quite worked out for you, or you have been victim to somebody promising the earth and they're not really delivering anything. I get that. Okay, so just you don't have to spend anything today. Okay, that's what I want to say to you. First of all, keep your money in your pocket. I'm not going to ask you for a single penny today. Everything I show you, everything I tell you, everything that I will be telling you about regarding the program that I've created, you can access completely free to have a look. Okay, and I promise you that. So you don't have to spend any money today. And I just want to make sure that's very, very clear. Okay, so you at the end will have an opportunity to look at the membership site I've created, to have a look at the course I've created, the resources I provide, all the help that I now give to people to help them lose weight free of charge. Okay. But first, let me tell you a bit more about me, my journey, and the three top secrets, as I said I would, about weight loss and how important they were for me on my journey. Sorry if I sound a bit nasally. I've got a bit of a cold today. I think it's from traveling back from the UK and the plane or the cold. Oh, it was cold in England, eh? It was cold in England. Like I said, I'm based in Barcelona now and I've lived here a number of years and love coming back to visit friends and family in the UK. There is still a very special place in my heart, especially around Christmas time when, there's a nice feeling in the air. Although I think I kind of missed it this year being there, the second week of January. But anyway, so what this is not, and this is important for me to tell you because like I said, if you haven't listened to the podcast, if you don't know me, you have no reason to trust me. I get that. Okay. So, this is something I feel like I have to earn your trust and that will come with time. But I'll tell you anyway, I'm a very open, honest, transparent person. And I want you to feel confident that if you decide to try this free trial today, if you are listening to what I'm telling you about weight loss, I want you to understand that I'm telling you the truth. Okay. I think it's very key. It's very important. And hopefully, as you get to know a bit more about me, you can see that I've got no reason to lie to you. Okay, so this isn't a diet plan. It's not a magic pill. I'm not going to be selling you any kind of snake oil or any kind of miracle plan that if you follow, you're going to, wake up the next morning and lose 2 stone. It doesn't exist, quite honestly. And anything that does promise these things is probably not very safe or and definitely not worth the money. Something that is important though, if you are looking to lose weight, you do need to want things to change. And that can be quite difficult. And quite often, I'm sure it's a bit of a conflict. At least it was with me when I was battling my weight, in that I always wanted to lose weight. I always wanted the result. I always wanted to be thinner and slimmer and more confident and fitting to clothes that were too tight for me. I wanted that, but was I actually willing to make that change? Was I really wanting the change or the result? And that's something we're going to look at tonight. There may still be bad days, and that's okay. Now, changing your weight, transforming your life, mental health, physical health, you can't expect yourself to be perfect. You can't start a new plan. You can't return to a plan you've tried before and think that everything has to be perfect. It's impossible. We have real lives. We have stress. We have upsets. We have all kinds of things going on, lack of sleep. And all of these things impact our ability to actually show up and have a successful journey. But what we'll talk about a bit more today is the fact that those bad days will happen. I can't make them go away. And, anyone who tells you it's possible is lying to you. But what's important is shortening the amount of time that you spend with the negative behavior when you do find yourself in a bad day. The quicker you can get back to your plan, get back to how things are, and back to the actions that really support your goal, that is what makes a long-term journey successful. But anyway, I'm telling you too much too early here. They're one of the secrets. I'm giving all my secrets away. And then finally, small steps. Sorry, not finally, but small steps lead to big changes. This is so true. Another thing we have a habit of doing as part of this all or nothing mentality is that we have to change everything at once. We have to change our food, we have to change our exercise plan, we have to start getting up early, we have to meditate, we have to journal, some people jump in cold water every morning. All of these things we have to change all at once. It's not sustainable. And so I truly believe, and this is how I was able to lose over 40 pounds, was take small steps, build a solid foundation, small steps, go slowly, add a couple of things at a time, wait till it's a habit, and then add something else and keep going that way. And quite honestly, it lowers the amount of overwhelm you experience. You don't feel like you have to do so many things. You don't feel like you're punishing yourself or restricting yourself. And it's, for me, the most successful way to move forward. And you have to be committed to long-term change. Now, the final point, long-term change, you have to look at this like a lifestyle change. You're not just going to, for a short time, change what you eat, lose a bit of weight, feel good in the short term, and then let it all come back. This is about changing your life for a healthier, more positive, more confident, happier future. And quite honestly, I'm pretty much sure everybody on the call, and tell me if it's not, but I'm pretty much sure that everybody is looking at this for long term. You don't probably want to yo-yo diet anymore. And if you have been yo-yo dieting for years, I know firsthand how difficult it is when the yo-yo starts going back up and the weight creeps on, and then you feel like you're failing, and it's a horrible, horrible experience. And it's not nice to go through those cycles. So the idea of actually having long-term change and maybe only having to lose weight once more, this one time, and then not having to be concerned about it again, it's a really empowering thought. And for me, it really changed my life, quite honestly. So who am I? That's me, Carl Radley. You can see me there. I'm from Essex originally. I moved to Barcelona about 15, maybe nearly 16 years ago now, actually. What was originally meant to just be a couple of months in the summer to let off some steam and have some fun turned into my whole adult life. You can see there I have two amazing little boys, Nathan and Dylan. Beautiful wife, Nuria, who is from here, from Barcelona. She's Spanish, and obviously a big reason for me staying here. And we met and really hit it off from day one. And, I absolutely love my life here in Spain. I love the fact that I still live close to the UK, so I can come back and visit friends and family like I have done this past weekend. And people come to visit me. And so I do still feel very connected to the UK. But I just happen to live and work and have my life here, a couple of hours flight away in Barcelona, well, on the outskirts of Barcelona. As you can probably see from those two photos, I like to be outside. And these are photos of me more recently since I decided to lose weight and I make a transformation. I also have a podcast, the Weight Loss Warrior podcast. And this is something that I started and created as a result of my own journey. I realized that there are a lot of people in a similar situation to myself, looking for motivation, looking for inspiration, and people who wanted some kind of support or direction on their own journey but didn't know where to get it. So I began sharing success stories from, dare I say, normal people who have done extraordinary things in terms of transformation and changing their lives, both physical and mental transformation. And this was a podcast that I started back in 2022. I've now got over 130. I think we've just released episode 138 came out today. Every Monday there's a brand new episode, a brand new guest, and I absolutely love it. I'll be honest with you. I absolutely love sharing the success stories. I think they're so motivating and inspiring to hear. And the podcast has gone from strength to strength. So what started as an idea, a seed of an idea, then became a really successful podcast, and then inspired me to become a weight loss mindset coach. Because I found that after maybe the first year of podcasting, people were coming to me and asking me for advice or tips on how to maybe empower themselves to lose weight or be successful or overcome challenges they were facing. And I realized I wasn't really qualified to do that. I didn't feel qualified to give advice. I didn't, despite hearing so many people tell me how they did the weight loss and how they managed to transform their lives, I wanted to have some kind of formal training and feel that I wasn't unqualified or potentially doing something dangerous by telling somebody they should try something if it wasn't right for them. So I trained to become a coach. And for the last year and a half now, wow, time goes quick. The last year and a half, I've been coaching private clients one to one, helping them to create a mindset that is enabling them to lose weight one last time. And it works in harmony with their diet. And then from there, it helps them build confidence, build self-esteem. And that's something that, I absolutely love. For me, it's the most rewarding job, I think, outside of being a husband and a parent that I've ever had. So you see me here, you see me, transformed and changed and smiling. But just know that this was also me. And here are three photos, still smiling, but a very different lifestyle and a very different feeling to who I am today and how I feel today. I spent many, many years overweight. My first real memory of being overweight was when I was 12, and I'd done a modeling, how do we call it? Like a catwalk modeling thing at our school, in which the parents would come and the students were modeling clothes that the parents could then buy if they wanted to. And I was one of the models, and I was, very confident as a child and outgoing and absolutely loved it. And I remember coming after the modeling thing to see my mum, who had been there watching, and she was chatting to one of my friend's dads. And, I went up to her all excited and full of adrenaline, probably even at, 12 years old. And the friend of my mum's, my friend's dad, looked at me and said, "Oh, wow, Carl, you've certainly got a footballer's thighs, haven't you?" And in that moment, he looked at my mum, he smiled. And in that moment, I knew exactly what he was saying. He was saying that I had fat legs. He was saying I was overweight. And although he kind of guarded it as kind of like a comment, as a joke, using football as the excuse, I knew exactly what he was saying. And that stayed with me my whole life, even to now. Telling you that, I still think Clive's an idiot and a very unfair one. And from then, I kind of gained weight, puberty. It's so similar for so many people, that adolescence meant me gaining quite a lot of weight. And then into my teenage years, young adulthood, 20s, going out, drinking, eating, having my own money to live a lifestyle I wanted to, right the way through into my 30s, until recently when I hit 99.9 kilos, and I just couldn't bring myself to see that tip to 100. I actually think it's quite lucky that I did see it at 99.9 and not 100, because I think if it got to 100, it'd be like, well, I've done it now. It's 100 now, might as well be 105, 110, and I don't know where it might have gone. But I did have quite low self-worth. I had a big problem with binge eating, especially in the night time, secret eating. I'd wait till people had gone to bed. I'd tuck into the biscuits, the chocolate, the crisps. And it wasn't really enjoyment. It wasn't hunger. It wasn't even boredom. It was just comfort. And found myself, hating going clothes shopping. I didn't, like to take my top off in public, which, as you can imagine, living in Barcelona, we're very close to the beach. We do a lot of things outside, a lot of beach time, a lot of swimming pools. And I hated it, especially because being ginger, I'm very pasty white. So I kind of stick out a little bit more than most. And because of that, the fact that I was quite visible, it made me very self-conscious. And, just my lifestyle in general, drinking too much, had a lack of confidence, eating all the wrong foods. I say the wrong foods, actually. I don't think there was right and wrong foods. But let me rephrase that. I was eating a lot of foods that had very low nutritional value, and I was eating well over my calorie needs for every single day. And it was all focused around the weekends. It would generally get to the Friday, I kind of finish work, takeaway, drinking, Saturday, more food and not really caring about it, more drinking, Sunday, tired, probably hungover sometimes, eating a takeaway, probably a few more drinks, and then back to work on Monday feeling absolutely rubbish. And that cycle continued up until the moment that I decided to make some changes. All I really wanted throughout this journey was to lose weight and be healthier, to have more confidence, and to feel in control. These were three things I was asked once, why do you want to lose weight? And these were the answers I gave. So I wanted to share them with you. And I think, it's probably quite similar to yourselves or a lot of people who are wanting to lose weight. So things I've tried, okay, just to let you know, I didn't just sit overweight without trying to lose it. I tried Slimming World. My mum has been, still is a member, Target member now, might I add. But at 15 years old, I went Slimming World with her, tried that, and honestly, got nothing against anyone who does Slimming World. But as a 15-year-old boy, when all your mates were at football training or out over the park playing, and I was going to Slimming World, and again, I say it with full respect, but as a 15-year-old boy, I'm sure you can understand, sitting in a room with a big group of women, most of which were in their 30s, 40s, 50s, I felt completely out of place. I didn't like it. It felt like a punishment. I felt like I didn't belong there. I felt like I'd really damaged my body to have to be there, which wasn't very good. And I ended up quitting quite soon after just because I just didn't resonate with it. It wasn't for me at that time. I also tried intermittent fasting, and intermittent fasting, for anyone who's not tried it, is basically you just have hours throughout the day where you don't eat. And for me, that's something I still sometimes do, and not because I think it has any kind of magical weight loss powers, but simply because of the fact that if you block out a certain amount of hours not to eat, you realize hunger isn't actually an emergency, and it's okay to feel hungry sometimes. You just reduce the amount of time that you can be consuming calories. So it's actually quite hard to overeat unless you do a lot of damage in that time where you are eating. Keto, very, very common now. People do, low carbs, lots of fats, lots of proteins, but very low carb. And the Dukan diet as well, which is again a very low carb diet, which helps you to create that calorie deficit. And the thing is, having tried all of these, the thing that I discovered was that, guess what? They all work. You can follow these plans and you will lose weight. But, and you can see the asterisks there, not reaching your goal, falling off the wagon, and then regaining all the weight plus more is a very strong possibility. Now, I wonder if some of you are there now, sat there nodding your heads thinking, yep, that's me. I followed a plan, I lost some weight, but then life got difficult, the weight came back, plus more, and I felt rubbish for it. And so that's something that I was very focused on changing, because that diet life cycle and, going through those motions of failing a diet, it takes a lot emotionally out of you. And what I'd like to do quickly here is just look at why diets fail. Why do they fail? Why don't we pick up a diet, follow it to the end, finish it, feel happy, never have to return? And some of it, and I'd say a lot of it, comes down to how we approach it and how we feel about it. We might think that we have too much weight to lose. We might think, we have bad habits. We may actually have bad habits that don't, and I say bad because a lot of the time there's a lot of criticism about using words good and bad, about, good and bad foods, good and bad diets, good and bad habits. But anything for me, when you have a goal and it takes you further away from it, could be considered a bad habit. Anything that takes you closer to your goal can be considered a good habit. So we'll use that frame of reference for this conversation, just in case it's not clear or you have your own perceptions or feelings about it. Okay, I just want to make sure it's clear for everybody. Lack of motivation. And motivation we'll talk about now. I'll show you. Motivation is usually the thing that gets us started, but it's also the thing that causes us to fail. Unfortunately, we feel that we can use motivation to get us right the way through, but unfortunately, it's not something that lasts forever. And as soon as we find ourselves demotivated, the whole journey becomes difficult. We'll talk about that in a couple of slides' time. Emotions, things that happen during the day, the way you feel. If you're female, your monthly cycle. If you're male or female and have a stressful job, family, you'll know that no 2 days are the same. Some days, the day could be the same, but you feel completely different. And you can't expect everything around you, your whole environment, to never change. Yet sometimes we feel that's what we need in order to be successful with our weight loss. A lack of confidence, that's something that I suffered with. Although I'm a very confident person generally, when it comes to anything that was about me, my appearance, how I looked, I suffered quite a lot. Falling off the wagon, this was me, classic, every Friday night. Oh, I've been good all week. I'm going to treat myself because I deserve it. Then falling off the wagon until Monday. And any deficit, any weight loss I'd managed to build up during the week was just absolutely ruined. And I found myself dieting all week and then still gaining weight after a month because of the weekends. But lack of progress and social events were pretty much my downfall. So I'm going to move on. I've got a few more things to get through and just want to share those secrets with you and then tell you about what we have, if that's okay. I hope you don't mind. My genuine hope is that you find this information interesting, useful, relatable, and that you are definitely interested, to have a look at what I'm doing to help other people. So as I mentioned before, motivation loops. I think this is something that the majority of people who yo-yo diet will relate to. So we'll start at the top. I'm back. And, this is where you draw a line, you give your head a wobble, you've given yourself a serious talking to, and you've shared maybe a post on Instagram to say, right, sorry, I've been quiet recently, but I'm back now and I'm ready to do this. I'm going to lose the weight. And then, the first weeks, they go really well. It's something new. You feel motivated. Motivation's at the top. It's at the highest level. You have the first couple of weeks, those early losses, which, are usually quite significant. It's something different. It's a novelty. People are cheering you on. You feel like, okay, this is good. You can do this. You see that success, but then unfortunately, after a few weeks, maybe a couple of months, those off-plan moments start to creep in. Like you fall off the wagon, maybe the diet becomes hard work. Maybe you've restricted yourself in what you're eating and it becomes less appetizing, the food that you've replaced it with. You might have some social events coming up because, it's very difficult to have a clear run throughout your whole journey without there being at least some social events, be it one that's something like Christmas or a birthday or an anniversary. There always seems to be something, especially when you're on a diet. And then because of that, the self-doubt starts to kick in and your motivation starts to dip and the journey becomes a struggle. Now, once it starts to become a struggle, you start to question everything, your ability to lose weight, your worthiness. You criticize yourself, you feel guilty, there's shame, there's a lot of negative energy, negative feelings, doubt, and it becomes quite miserable quite quickly. You look around you, if you go to a slimming club and see other people succeeding, and you might have a maintain or your weight loss slows down or even start gaining weight, and you just think, oh, here we go again. And that's when you start to head in towards rock bottom. Motivation's now all but gone. Your weight loss stops, you feel like a failure, you want to give up, you think, I can't do this. And so that's where you go. You end up avoiding the diet, you stop going, you quit. And I say this with complete compassion, complete respect for anybody who's been through this, and maybe several times a year. This is what I've done before many, many times. And get into that rock bottom where you just think, right, I give up. That final admission that I'm not going to do this. This is rubbish. I can't do it. It's too hard. It's a horrible feeling. Your level of self-worth is plummeting by this point, and you just kind of think maybe I'm just meant to be overweight. Maybe I'm meant to be unhealthy. It's too hard for me. Everyone else can do it. I can't do it. I give up. And you'll stay there until, something happens. There's a friend who's getting married or it's coming up to a holiday, and then you think, I have to do something. So guess what? You draw a line. You give your head a wobble. You give yourself a serious talking to, and you go back to posting on Instagram again to start the cycle again. And the thing is, I say it with a bit of a smile because I've spoken to so many people who have been through this multiple times. But the thing is, we always start that cycle again in exactly the same way, hoping that just this time, we're a bit more determined, or we stay motivated longer, or we are more committed or more resilient to it. So we do exactly the same things, but then seem surprised when it doesn't go right. And yet, I think, we have to really step outside of that and think we need to do something different. If we keep doing the same thing that's always failed for us, I think it's important that we then think, okay, what haven't I tried? And this is where I started to look as I approached my 40th birthday and wanted to arrive at my 40th, the healthiest I'd ever been. So let's talk about for a second the zone of magic. Okay, we've just talked about motivation loops, the rock bottom, that I'm back, here we go, let's lose weight. I don't honestly believe that being highly motivated all of the time is possible, nor should you rely on it to have a successful weight loss journey. For me, the consistency, the middle of the road, You'll have good days, you'll have bad days, but staying somewhere in that middle of, okay, I'm in this, regardless if I'm feeling low motivation or if I'm highly motivated, I'm going to find a way to do this so that regardless of what's happening around me, or regardless of how I feel personally in this day, I'm going to set myself up for success. Then it just means the easy days are even easier. The hard days, you have a plan. And that is so key because it's usually on those hard days where you think, you know what, just order a takeaway. I can't be bothered to cook. I'm tired. But when you've got a plan that's there to support you, and again, not saying that there's never going to be difficult days, but giving you a way to get through them, all of a sudden you have a way forward. And I think that's a massive difference that for so many people don't have. And so you go on a diet thinking, I'm just going to be motivated like this the whole journey, and then feel surprised when you're not, but don't have anything to get you through that. And that's where the diet fails. So the three key secrets. And as I said, I lost over 40 pounds. I was approaching, it was actually on January 1st, very, very cliche and very ironic, which to be honest with you, should have meant I wasn't going to succeed because I read that, over 90% of the New Year's resolutions we make are failures. But on January 1st, a couple of years ago, I realized that the following year, not that year, but the following year, I was going to be 40. So I could technically say that next year I'm going to be 40. And that frightened me a bit because I thought I never expected to be as unhealthy as I was or as unfit as I was at 40 years old, having two young children, wanting to be as active as I could for them. I realized that I needed to make some serious changes. And I wasn't going to wait until I was 40. I wasn't going to wait till the year I was 40. I was going to make changes now, but they had to be different. I couldn't do the same things I'd always done because they'd never worked for me. So why would this time be any different? Again, I'd be relying on motivation, just hoping that it was enough to pull me through. But I'd seen other people talk about different things and different ways of losing weight. So I thought, okay, this time I'm going to approach it in a more sensible way, in a more logical way, rather than from emotion. So secret one, this is what I discovered and something that I think is so powerful that we don't give it enough credit for. Weight loss is a byproduct of a healthy mindset. Okay, so basically what this is saying, weight loss is a byproduct of a healthy mindset. What I'm saying here is that the weight loss happens because you have a healthy mindset. Now, if we for a second associate weight loss with a healthy mindset, not with the diet that we're following, it probably changes things slightly for you. Because if I was to ask you a question, do you have a healthy mindset regarding weight loss? I would be willing to bet that nearly every single person on this call would say no. If I was to ask you if you have negative thoughts about losing weight, about yourself, if you are your own cheerleader, if you're somebody who shows up for yourself to really give yourself that fighting chance, or if you sit there spending most of your time beating yourself up, talking to yourself in a way you would never even dream of talking to somebody you really care about, yet we do it. And we don't have a healthy mindset in terms of setting ourselves up for success. So the secret I learned was that weight loss doesn't come from following a diet. Weight loss comes from having a healthy mindset. And just hang on to that thought because I think it's so key and it will explain a bit more about what I'm going to share with you later on. So to give you a bit more detail on this, what we tend to do, we have a diet method, and it could be any diet method we talked about, whether it's Weight Watchers, Slimming World, keto, calorie counting. They all do the same thing essentially. They all essentially put your body into a calorie deficit so that you're burning more calories than you're consuming, meaning that your body's using your fat stores to fuel you. That's as simple as I can put it. Okay. So it doesn't matter. There's no, as I said, I don't believe there's any kind of miracle diet plan out there that does anything different than that. But some use points, some use sins, some just give you a calorie budget that you can spend every day and not go over it. But they all essentially do the same thing. So you find that method, the method that works, and I say works in commas there because we all believe that a certain plan works, and usually when it's worked in the past and then we've regained the weight, we don't blame the plan, we blame ourselves, and we say, I lost weight on that diet, so I'm going to do it again. But then I gained the weight back, I messed up, I did something wrong, and it was my fault that I regained weight. Now, whether or not that plan's actually really setting you up for long-term success or not is a completely different matter and not one I'm going to get into tonight. I have my own thoughts about it, and you should listen to the podcast because I share quite a bit about it there. But you then have your diet plan, You write your plan for the first week, you draw your line, you wobble your head, do all those things, and you go. You've got your goal. I want to lose 3 stone by the summer. You know what diet you're going to follow, and off you go towards that goal. Nothing else will be enough. You have to hit that goal. But then after a while, guess what happens? Our brain gets in the way, our mindset, our self doubt, our self loathing, our lack of confidence, our low self esteem, fear of judgment, the fear of failure, fear of success, all of these things. And then all of a sudden, that goal becomes a bit harder to get to. We feel lost. We don't know exactly what we need to do, and it becomes difficult. So I like to think of mindset as the GPS and the fuel that gets you on that journey. Now imagine you just jump in the car, and this is why I've got a picture of a car. Imagine you jump in the car and you know where you want to go, but you have no map, you have no directions, and you don't have a full tank of gas. Sorry, I say gas. I call it gas. I sound very American, don't I? Because I live in Barcelona and that's what my wife calls it because she learnt her English from an American. And so she calls it gas. I call it gas. But I mean petrol. I mean diesel, but I call it gas. But anyway, I digress. What I'm saying here is that if you don't have the direction or the fuel, which we can call motivation, we can call it determination, we can call it willpower, whatever you want. But if we don't have that, you're never going to reach your goal. So I think this is where mindset is seriously overlooked, and something that most of us, when we go on a diet, we don't say, oh, I'm actually going to work on my mindset to lose weight. Most of us think, I'm going to follow this diet plan so that I lose weight. So think about that. Secret number 2, feelings are controlled by our thoughts, not by our circumstances. Now, I love this one, and this has been literally life-changing for me. I had my own coach, and he taught me about this. And it might be a bit confusing, but I'll say it again. Feelings are controlled by our thoughts, not by our circumstances. And the reason I think it's such a key element of a healthy weight loss journey is that we generally believe that our feelings are a result of our circumstances. And I'll give you some examples here. Look, so we feel crappy, we feel bad because we're overweight. We feel sad that we're overweight. We feel lonely because you're fat. We feel ugly because we're heavier. All of these different things that we feel, these emotions, these negative feelings that we often eat, the ones that we try and bury by covering them up by comfort eating or maybe whatever else we do when we feel low. If I was to ask you why you feel like that, you're more likely to tell me it's because you're overweight, because you can't lose weight, because again, circumstance. Being overweight is a circumstance. Okay? Bear with me here. So, if we look at it like this, that we have a circumstance, a thought, a feeling, an action, and a result. And you'll see here I said that our feelings are controlled by our thoughts, not by our circumstances. So if we take the circumstance of being overweight and all of those feelings that you can probably think of more to that list, maybe 5 more, 10 more to that list of how you feel frustrated, angry, sad, embarrassed, all of these things that you have attached to being overweight. And we think we feel like that because of the fact we're overweight. And as a result of that, we go on diets, and usually that diet will fail because, again, we're not set up for success. However, if we were to look at it another way, let's first of all now insert those thoughts that we have in between the circumstance of being overweight and feeling terrible. The thoughts that we have when we're overweight are things like this. This is too hard. I can't lose weight. I always fail. People are judging me. All of these thoughts are probably quite common, repetitive. And like I said, we talk to ourselves in a way we would never talk to our friends or those close to us, but yet we do it to ourselves. And it's so damaging. It's so sad that we allow ourselves to talk to ourselves like this. So basically, if we consider the fact that we're having all of these thoughts because we're overweight and we're feeling all of these things, what does that actually lead to? It doesn't lead to any kind of success, does it? It doesn't help us. So, oh, I've lost my place. 1 second. That's what I wanted to show you. So what about, instead of having these thoughts of it being too hard, not being able to lose weight, always failing, people judging you, what about if we change those thoughts? The circumstance doesn't change. We're still overweight, but we change those thoughts we have about ourselves, about what we're having on a daily basis. We change that thought pattern. So we're still overweight, okay? But imagine if you start telling yourself that you're making positive changes, that you remind yourself you're refusing to quit. You tell yourself on a daily basis, I can do this. And you see each day as an opportunity. If you started to reframe your thoughts like that, what do you think would happen? How do you think that, and if you just read those compared to this is too hard, I can't lose weight, I always fail, people are judging me. If you now read those more positive statements, for me, it drives a feeling of positivity, of optimism, of hope. I'm making positive changes. I refuse to quit. I can do this. Each day is an opportunity. For me, it changes the feeling completely. All of a sudden, I think, hang on a second, there is a chance I can do this. Maybe I can lose weight. Maybe I can reach my goal. So as you see, the circumstance hasn't changed. But by changing the thought, you can change the feeling. And that's so, so important. So secret 3, you have everything you need to make it click. Now, bear with me with this. If you're wondering to make it click, what's he talking about? This comes from, first of all, probably the more than 130 podcast interviews I've had, and also my own story. Time and time again on the podcast, when we talk about why or how somebody has succeeded, I hear things like, well, something changed this time. This time it was different. It became easy. I felt in control. But people aren't able to pinpoint. Usually, if they've done this diet, it could be a diet somebody's tried 10 times before, and then this 11th time, something changed and enabled them to lose weight. And you've probably heard stories like this. And the people say, something clicked, something fell into place. It just clicked. And the thing with that is, what was it? What clicked? I need to know it. Tell me what clicked so I can go and do the same thing, and then I can be successful and be happier and lose the weight that I want to. But it's not as easy as that, is it? Because people can't put a finger on it themselves. I personally know and believe it to be true that it's mindset. And that's why I want to share with you now. So they're my 3 secrets. Now, hopefully by now, you're obviously agreeing with what I'm sharing. I'm hoping that it's something that you are interested in, perhaps haven't considered so much before about mindset. But one of the things that we need, or 3, what do we need to make it click is the question. Let's just notice that we don't have to change our genetics, and we can't change our genetics. Radical changes of diet doesn't make a difference, and we can't use any witchcraft or magic. Maybe you can. Maybe you are a sorcerer. Maybe you are a witch. Paganism is actually something I'm very interested in. But to be able to make it click, I don't think we can rely on any of these 3 things, can we? So, what is it exactly that we need to make it click? It's an unbreakable mindset. Look in that funnel, all those different positive words, all those things we probably wish we had. And if we had more of, we'd probably feel more capable of reaching our goals. Have a look at those. And I wonder if there's any of those words that jump out at you and you think, oh, if only I had more self-belief, if only I was more resilient, or my self-esteem wasn't in the gutter, if only I could be more compassionate to myself or be courageous enough to go on this. Imagine if that's what's really lacking. You've got the diet plan, but this is what you're lacking. Then perhaps it's time to actually look at mindset as the way forward, because you've tried the diet so many times and it's not helped you, or maybe it's helped you for a short term. But then if you really look at the reason why it wasn't successful long term, perhaps you can start to see the pattern that mindset wasn't where it needed to be. So let me just stop for a second, okay? Thank you for being with me so far. I hope you found this very interesting. But let me ask each of you, who agrees that a strong, healthy mindset is necessary to reach your weight loss goal, to feel truly happy in your own skin, and to break the yo-yo diet cycle for good? If you agree with that, stay on the call, because I just want to show you now how you can get free access to what I've created, which is basically a blueprint of what I did to lose weight. So if you do agree with that, if you agree that strong, healthy mindset is necessary to lose weight long term, then what I'm about to show you is going to be very, very interesting to you. Okay. So how can you do this? And this is where I'm going to introduce you, if it's okay for you, Warrior Membership. As I said, you do not have to pay a penny today, okay? I'm not going to ask you, put your wallet away, put your purse away, put your credit cards away. I'm not going to ask you to pay a single penny. I truly believe there are so many people out there, so many scams that will take your money, promise you something, and deliver nothing. And so for me, something interesting that I learned as part of my coaching, this isn't about selling something. It's about creating an environment where people can thrive. And I want you to thrive. I want you to see what's available to you, to see if it's right for you or not. For most people, I believe it will be. For some people, it might not. But I'm not going to sell that to you immediately. I want you to see it, have a look at all of these things I've got available, and then decide if it's for you or not. So, what I did, I created a membership site, and this is a screenshot from it there that you can see. You have to forgive me. I do like my lilacs. I think it's a nice calming color. But I created a membership area based on my coaching, based on the podcast episodes that I've done, but more than 130 people's life-changing experiences that they've shared with me on the podcast, and put this all together as a complete resource for people who still want to lose weight, people who want to try something different by focusing on mindset as a way forward. So within this resource, within this membership site, and I'm still thinking for a final name on it, so that's why I keep calling it a membership site. It's not very sexy, is it? But that'll be coming. It's still very new, and I don't mind admitting that, because it's a work in progress. It's something I've been working on for months. It's something that I'm now very happy to be sharing, and people are already getting great results. So I feel confident sharing it with you tonight. So it includes the Click, which is my 10 module weight loss course. This is basically me sharing with you the activities that I did, the things that I read, the exercises I did, and what I went through to enable me to lose weight by focusing on my mindset. I've put it all together into small bite-sized videos. There's activities connected to the videos, and you can go through it at your own pace, as fast as you want, as slow as you want, but it's all there. And by going through that course, you will be able to truly improve your mindset, and it's all connected to weight loss. So it's all focused on, creating a mindset that will help you lose weight. I've also included 10 mindset guides, which are smaller, easy to digest PDFs. So you can go through those, and each tackles a different area of mindset, whether it's self-esteem or confidence or self-belief, and you can focus on that. So maybe you've got one in particular you really want to focus on, and it's there. I'll also be sharing premium content, which is only available to members. Okay, premium podcast, for example. I love doing the podcast with the guests, but I'm also doing private podcasts talking about coaching topics and sharing that now with the community. Now, the expert workshops, very, very exciting. Okay, but expert workshops, I can't claim to know everything. So what I do is each month bring an expert in, somebody to talk about a topic that's relevant to well-being, to health, be it mental or physical, and share their knowledge, share their expertise with you in the format of like a presentation, where you can learn something, where you can ask questions, where you can get advice. And that's happening every single month. There's going to be various topics throughout this year. I have a number of ladies in the group who are keen to look at perimenopausal weight loss. And it's just mainly because of the age group of the people who are on the call, and people who have joined already. It's things like that, longer term health, and it's realistic things that can challenge us on our weight loss journey. So things like nutrition, things like exercise. If you don't absolutely love the gym, how you can incorporate movement into your daily life. So many different things, because I want to provide you with everything you need in one place. We also have group coaching, which will be happening on a monthly basis, where I'll be leading a group of coaching and to picking a different topic, similar to the monthly experts, but focusing on things that I truly feel qualified to talk about. There's community access. We have a private Facebook group. It wasn't private, it is now, and it's part of this. So to get access to that, you do have to be a member. It's a really safe place to share your questions, your queries. If you've had a rubbish day and you want somebody who understands to listen, that's what it's all there for, as well as sharing successes. It's really, really rewarding when you see somebody in there who's done something amazing. I'm not just talking about the end result, but maybe just had a great week, maybe just, cracked something that's been a challenge. And I absolutely love that. And then finally, monthly giveaways. The monthly giveaways, and I'll be honest with you, the prizes things I'm going to give away will increase with value. And this is a small incentive for me to grow the group, but also for you as well, if you know someone who might be interested. Once you are a member, the more members I have, I will have higher value giveaways. It will be a direct percentage of the number of members. And, I would love nothing more than to be able to offer weekends away and, spas and massage, whatever you want, whatever the members are asking for, I would absolutely love to give that away. So that's something as well, a bit of fun in there, but also, an incentive for us to keep growing and helping each other. So let me just go back to the Click a second. As I said, this is the course. The Click is the 10 module course of everything I learned to enable me to lose 40 pounds and keep it off. It's full of advice, ideas, tips from over 130 weight loss success stories. It's the blueprint I used to develop an unbreakable mindset. It's a step-by-step plan focusing on well-being and better mental health. And it's everything you need to build confidence and self-belief. If it's okay with you, is it okay now if I just tell you a little bit more and how you can access this free of charge? As I said, you don't have to pay a penny today. The Click, these are the 10 modules. I'm not going to go through them one by one, but I'm sure, again, if you look at this for first glance, I'm sure there's a one, two, maybe more that jump out of you and you think, okay, if I can improve this, weight loss will become easier. For me, it was self-belief and probably guilt and shame because I went through these cycles of binge eating and I would feel terrible about it. And that would either lead me to eat more or to kind of like avoid my diet or kind of pretend I wasn't on one so that I felt better about it. So I didn't have to face the reality. And that self-belief that I could actually lose weight was very much lacking for a number of years. So as I said, one of these I'm sure jumps out of you or multiple. And these are the things that we tackle within the Click. So if the Click, just for Click, I've told you so many things, that are inside the members area, but the Click as a course, if that was the only thing that it did was to allow you to build confidence and self-esteem, I'm curious to know, would you try it? Would you be willing to try this if this was going to help you build your confidence, build your self-esteem, and you believe that that would be your Click to helping you to lose weight long term? But wait, one thing I want to confess, okay? One thing I feel important that I tell you, okay, because it's something that I was doing last year, and it's something that I think is important as part of this journey to understand. I was selling the Click last year as a one-off price of £240. I sold throughout, I think, the first 6 months of the year. I stopped around June time because I began working on the new version of it, which is what you'll have access to now. But I was selling it as a one-off price. And to be honest with you, I think it was a fair price, £240. I think it was fair for the amount of information being shared, for the amount of effort that I put into it, and the time I've spent on it. And because of the fact I used this to lose weight myself, I know it works. So I thought it was fair because it got results. However, I realized very quickly that £240 is not affordable to everybody, and myself included, by the way. This was a lot of money to ask of people, especially when we don't know each other, when you've kind of really got here by filling out an email form or from an advert you saw. It was a lot to ask. And people were often also fearful to invest and to spend that, even if you had that money, but didn't want to spend it. The risk of what if it doesn't work, or what if this is a scam, and probably had experiences in the past where you paid money and not got the results and thought, well, I'm not going to do it because it's not going to work, or it's, it could be a waste of money, or I can't really afford it. And it just didn't feel right for me morally. I hated the fact that I could see people, literally see people on these calls, as you are today, who wanted to try this, who wanted to give it a go, to really get out of that hamster wheel of going through trying diets, failing, feeling awful. And I felt like I had what they needed to help them, but I was putting that barrier of £240 in the way, and that was stopping them. And I always set out to do this saying that I wanted to help as many people as possible. And by doing that, I wasn't helping as many people as possible. I was helping as many people who could afford and was willing to pay that money. And £240 is a lot of money. I fully appreciate that. So I got creative. I decided to add more tools, resources, and support to the Click, which is what I've just explained to you in the membership area. I upgraded the Click and redid all the videos, added more content, added more activities, and created a full experience to accompany you on your journey of weight loss. And most importantly, I slashed the price to make this affordable to as many people as possible. I realized, this for me was the key one, but money for me is not the most important thing, but being able to help people and genuinely make a change to somebody's life, that is my purpose. That is why I'm here. Now, obviously, I'd love to make this my full-time job. I currently work in HR and payroll, but I get so much more satisfaction having a message from somebody who's gone through this course and said that it's worked and it's helped them lose weight and they feel much better about themselves for it than the money that they were sending me. So I've explained already what's inside. Now, let's just have one quick recap. And when I'm finished, I'll leave you in peace and you can make a decision of whether or not you'd like to try this for free or not. So, is this for you? You're probably thinking, oh, it sounds interesting, but I don't know if it's what I need. So let me ask you, if you've never reached a weight loss goal, this is probably for you. If you feel like you don't have full control of your weight at the moment, or you might do today, but you may be nervous about the fact that it's only a matter of time before you don't, then this is for you. If you have an emotional relationship with food, as I have and still do to some extent, don't get me wrong, but I've found ways of controlling that and overcoming that, this is for you. If you experience feelings of guilt or shame related to eating, again, you should definitely try this. If you feel like you've tried everything else, now I'm here to tell you probably haven't tried everything else, and it's just a feeling we have. We have that overwhelm. Oh, I've tried everything. And I'll never forget this presentation I once saw where somebody said, they were talking about setting up their own business, and they're like, oh, I just can't make it work. I've tried everything and I can't get customers. And the man who was presenting said, okay, tell me 50 things that you've tried. He said, well, I haven't tried 50 things. He said, okay, well, tell me 10 things you've tried. And he said, well, I haven't tried 10 things. He said, well, tell me the last 5 things you've tried. And he said, well, I've only tried one thing. He said, well, you haven't tried everything, have you? And that's pretty much how we are with weight loss. But like I said, we tend to look at different diets as the way to lose weight. But have you ever really stopped and decided to focus on mindset to lose weight, to accompany you on the diet that you're on? Possibly not. And that's why this is probably for you. If your mental health suffers because of your physical being, or you have low self-esteem or a lack of confidence, or you're simply just fed up with being overweight, you see I covered 6, 7 and 8 there in one, this is for you. If maybe you've lost weight in the past but you couldn't maintain it, this is probably for you. And if you want a longer, healthier, more enjoyable life, then guess what? This membership is for you. So why join now? And how can you try it? No risk, no obligation, and completely free. As I said right at the very beginning, that I was promising to you, you can try this without having to spend any money today and get access to everything that I've shown you. So basically, you get, and let's just run through it one last time. I just want to make sure you're clear on what's inside before you decide to take a look at it. You have a Click 10 module course, and the price of that, as I said before, was £240, but it's not anymore. The monthly expert workshop. Now I've put a price there of £20 and I'll explain why, because I want this to be completely above board, transparent. I will be offering people for the monthly expert workshops to join if they're not members, but we'll be charging them £20 each. So if you think about it like this, I should have put 120 there because there's going to be 12 throughout the year and it's a ticket price of 20 each if you're not a member. So that'd be 120. We'll keep it at 20 though. So the total value so far is £260. A weekly check-in and community for you to be part of. Now, the weekly check-in, I go live either on Instagram or Facebook or both, and it's your space. If you have questions, if you want to share a win, if you want to share a challenge, you can do that. Otherwise, I will just fill the time talking about things I've been up to and how, amazing things I've been shown or had shared with me. I haven't put a price on that because really it costs me nothing to do and it costs other people nothing to be part of. Premium content and podcast episode, as I've said, again, it doesn't cost me, it costs me time, but it doesn't cost me money. So I'm not putting a price on that. I don't want this to be overinflated or to be unbelievable. And then finally, 10 Mindset Guides PDF bundle. They will be for sale for £15 each. There's 10 of them, so 150. You get all 10 of them included and you can download them, keep them, you can print them and write on them. You can do whatever you like with them. They're yours to keep. And a special bonus. Now, the special bonus, and this is something that's only because you're part of this live call. If you sign up and try this today as a result of it, I will also be offering you a one-to-one session with me, a coaching and goal setting session, so that we can, if you'd like, talk about your goals, talk about the things that have blocked you up until this point, and I will give you some ways forward. I will give you some advice. I will give you some help and try and unblock that path for you so you can continue. And this is regardless of whether or not you stay a member. This is regardless of whether or not you sign up longer term. This is just a special bonus for being here right now. And I charge my individual coaching sessions at £100 each. Again, it's on the website, or at least it will be on the new version. And that's why I'm happy to put that at £100. So the total value of this package, it sits at £510, okay? But I'm not looking for £510. I've told you don't have to spend a penny today. You will get a completely free access and a free trial right now. And It's far, far less. Let me just tell you, it's far, far less than £510. You can try it completely free. If you change your mind, if it doesn't help you, or if you feel it isn't exactly as you hoped, you have 4 days to cancel the trial. Okay. And you'll never be charged a penny. And that's a promise. Okay. That's an absolute promise. I have the podcast. You've seen my family. I'm just a guy who's lost some weight and now helps other people do that. I'm not here to scam anyone. I'm here to just help people. So this is why the free trial is there, because I want you to see it and hopefully see the value in it and then think, okay, I'm happy to then become a paying member. But if it's not for you, I'll send in the email, in the membership area, you can just cancel your subscription before the 4 days are up and you'll never be charged. That's a promise, okay? So you can try this exactly without any risk. No risk at all. So for me right now, I'm hoping you're sitting there thinking, well, I don't have to pay a penny for it. I can try it. And in fact, you can even go in there with a free trial, download all the guides, go through the course really, really quickly, and then cancel your subscription. It's never cost you a penny. Now, obviously, I hope you decide to see the long-term value in being there for the monthly calls and everything else, but perhaps not. But you could do that, and I will never stop you, because I'll be honest with you, if that works, you lose weight and it changes your life, again, that's far more important to me than making a few pounds as part of a membership deal. So what to do next? I'm hoping by now, and I've been reading some of the comments. I know there's a lot of people very interested in doing this, and I'm really, really happy to see that. So, I'd like to in advance say thank you and welcome. Here's the link that you need to actually uh, to click on. I don't know if it's clickable here, but I'll put it into the chat now. If you're watching a replay of this, by the way, I will send the link so that you can sign up in the email. I know some people are not able to make it live, so I'll send this. And if you've watched it this far, you're probably wanting the link. And then you go here to tribe.weightlosswarriorpodcast.com. Now, let me just tell you something that's quite important here. You need to choose this middle tier. Okay, to do the course and everything else, it's the middle tier. And the price of this is $14.99 per month. You can cancel at any time. There's no long contract. You get 4 days free, remember, to try it all. But the reason I say go for this middle one is because, first of all, the added value of this higher tier, in fact, this tier isn't actually available yet. And I'll tell you why. Because in the future, this is going to have a library of the previous expert workshops. So as time goes on, imagine in 2 years from now, I'm going to have 24 expert workshops from real thought leaders, really qualified people to come and give their expertise. And I want to have that like the Netflix of coaching. So paying extra for that will give you access to that back catalogue. Okay. But I don't have that yet because we've only just started this. So it's not even available. The Empower one doesn't have the Click weight loss course. And the truth is, I'm just about to get rid of it anyway. And the reason being is this, that it's confusing. I want everyone to get as much access to everything they can and enjoy this and get results. So there is only going to be one tier. It's going to be $14.99 a month, and it's going to include everything. Okay, so rest assured, you're not going to be missing out. But if you don't click this middle one, you won't get access to the Click. Okay, which I think is probably one of the core parts of this and well worth doing. All right, so go to this website, tribe.weightlosswarriorpodcast. I see people saying they're already doing it, they're already going through it. Perfect, amazing. If you're still thinking about it, okay, I understand. I've got one more thing to share with you. Be brave, okay? Let me say it again. There's no risk. It's 4 days completely free. You can cancel it. There's no complicated questions. You don't have to kind of like stand in front of me and tell me why it's not for you. I understand it might not be for you. You might be curious. $14.99 might be a lot for you. I understand that. But hoping that $14.99 is much better than the £510 value that you're getting out of it, And the good thing is that you could try it for 1 month, 2 months, 3 months, for as long as you need it. There's always going to be new content available and more help there. So, being a long-term member is feasible, but perhaps you've got a goal of maybe, you're close to the end of your weight loss journey already, or maybe you just want to do it for a few months. Sign up for a few months and then you can just easily cancel it. There's no contract. And if you're scared to commit, consider your journey, the doubt, the insecurity and fear that you have already and that will continue if nothing changes. If you're thinking it's expensive, I'm not here to judge, okay? Everyone's finances are personal, and I know with the cost of living, especially having been back in the UK this last weekend, it's expensive. But let me ask you this. If this result was 100% guaranteed, would you buy it? What price would you put on a successful weight loss journey that allowed you to become healthier and change your life? If it doesn't work, guess what? You have a full money back guarantee. If if you get through this and you're so deeply unhappy that it hasn't worked, or 6 months from now you're like, Carl, I've been trying everything, it hasn't worked, I will personally coach you. I will go through this and understand why it hasn't worked for you and even give you your money back. I promise that. Because again, I want you to enjoy this. I want you to be happy with this. I want you to see results. I'm not here to just try and squeeze people for money. So if there's a problem with this, if there's a problem with it not working for you, I want to know that, because perhaps in the future I can help other people overcome this before they've gone down that path. And finally, if you don't believe in yourself, and let me ask you, do you believe in yourself? Do you actually currently genuinely believe you can lose all the weight you want to? I'm going to bet the answer is no, because so many of us, even if you believe, you're motivated to lose weight, do you believe you can do it long term? I didn't for many, many years. I didn't believe I could do it. I'd be trying to diet, but unfortunately that belief, that limiting belief that I couldn't do it, was usually that self-fulfilling prophecy that stopped me from actually doing it. And this course is all about teaching you how to believe in yourself. So let me hold that space for you for a moment. If you want to do this, but you don't believe in yourself, I will hold that belief for you until you're ready to take it back from me. So as I've said, and I'm going to finish now, unless there's any questions, to try this now with absolutely zero risk. If you change your mind, it doesn't help you, or you feel it isn't exactly as you hoped, I will give you your money back if you're in a few months' time, or you can just cancel your subscription within 4 days and you'll never be charged. I hope this has been interesting for you. And remember, that website is tribe.weightlosswarriorpodcast.com. I'm here to help you. I'm fully accessible. Message me on Instagram, send me an email at carl@weightlosswarriorpodcast.com. I'll be in the Facebook group every single day. So if you do have any questions, if you do want some advice, if you need some help with something, just know that this isn't one of these communities where I sit back and don't do anything. I'm fully active in it and I'm here to support you. Thank you so, so much for being part of this. Head over now, get that trial, and I'll see you in the members area. Take care. Bye-bye.